Now I want to turn to the 2020 presidential election, less than 4 months away. Can you believe it? The president doubling down on a tactic that has worked for him so far, and that's promoting divisive or racist rhetoric in an effort to appeal to his base. Like, for instance, going on Fox News to appeal to Southern voters who he claims love their Confederate flag. Here it is.
When people proudly had their Confederate flags, they're not talking about racism. They love their flag. It represents the South. They like the South. People right now like the South. I say it's freedom of many things, but it's freedom of speech.
So let's discuss now. Liam Donovan is a Republican strategist and the former National Republican Senatorial Committee aide, and Mitch Landrieu is here as well. He's a CNN political commentator, former mayor of New Orleans, of course. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. So, Mayor Landrieu, I'm going to start with you. People right now like the South, he says. You know, what does the South mean to this president?
Well, the president has a misunderstanding of what the South is, what people believe, where they came from, and what we revere. People from the South are patriotic. We can certainly tell the difference between people that are trying to rip the United States of America apart for the cause of preserving slavery and those that are not. I'm a white guy. I'm from the South, and I don't remember the Confederacy well at all, and I don't think that represents who we are in the South. What he's doing is, again, trying to recapture the Southern strategy that was implemented by President Nixon. There's a long, sordid history about it, but I think people in America can see through this really, really clearly. I don't think they're going to buy it this time. I think people understand what the Confederacy was about, and this isn't about the First Amendment. This is about what America is, who we are as a people, what we trust, what we believe in, and what we think is good for the country.
Listen, it's your personal business. If you want to fly an American flag, a Confederate flag at your home, that's your business, right? You want to carry it around, you want to wear it. That's your own personal business. The difference is people are saying it shouldn't be up front in businesses and federal buildings, and that's a difference, right?
Well, there's a clear difference. I mean, everybody's got a First Amendment right to say what they want and when they want, so long as the reach of your fist doesn't meet my nose in terms of your personal behavior. But in terms of the government, putting monuments on public property in reverence of the Confederacy, that's a completely different story. Or having the names of Army or Marine or Navy bases named after Confederate soldiers who sought to destroy the country, the public can tell the difference between the two. And the president is doing what the president does. We know who he is. The question is, who are we? And that's what this election is going to be about.
Liam, I want to bring you in now because you're quoted in the New York Times, a New York Times article titled Trump promotes caricature of what conservatives want. And here's what you see. You said Trump's intimate connection with the base is one of shared grievance. But when it comes to what they're for, it inevitably comes off like a cartoon version of what a New York billionaire would think conservatives believe. Are you saying that he's stereotyping his own base, Liam?
Well, I think when he makes these sorts of comments, whether it's about the Confederate flag, whether it's about how we should treat, abortions, he says things that come across both as insincere and as tone deaf. He doesn't quite, he hasn't thought through these issues. He doesn't have any sense of sort of nuance, and he just comes in there with these sort of hand-fisted lines that don't connect in the same way that it does when he's, throwing haymakers at enemies that Republicans share. And so I think that's when he's on shakier ground, and it's showing in an environment like this where you need more than just harnessing anger, because people are scared, people are concerned about their jobs, they're concerned about their health and their safety. So I think this is something that worked in 2016 in a time of relative peace and prosperity against someone who could project all these negative feelings on. I think it's a lot harder in this environment where the fundamentals are turned upside down. We're in a profound state of disruption, and he's running against somebody who is a relatively sort of vanilla figure that's much harder to turn into a supervillain.
Mayor, from the start, Trump has uttered some of the most blatantly racist sentiments. Listen to this.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. They don't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. So a lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way. More white people.
So, listen, people think it's a strategy. I mean, isn't it the president is just really racist?
I think that there's no question that he is. And this is really simple. This is not hard. When you judge people, not based on their behavior, individual behavior, but you judge them based on the color of their skin, you judge them based on their religion, you make broad characterizations of them because of immutable characteristics. That is the very essence of racism. It all comes from the same fruit of the poisonous tree of hatred. People know what that's like. Americans are not foolish, notwithstanding this very difficult time that we're in. I have great faith in the American people that when called into this moment, they're going to do what they have been called to do. We have had some sordid events in our history based on race, and it really is, it's troubling to have that amount of vitriol coming from the most powerful person in the world. And it's clear that President Trump has used the power of the presidency to divide us. And that's not what the power is supposed to be used for. And I think the people of America are going to turn away from that. I don't think they're going to be susceptible to it, although there are certain elements of our community that are susceptible to it. But I don't think it's going to work this time.
Liam, listen, I'm up against the wall because I had the breaking news here, but quickly, what is he going to have to do to turn these poll numbers around? He's like quit doing things like he's doing now?
Well, I think the stray voltage, approach of just trying to tweet law and order and, beat Joe Biden up as the second coming of the sort of arch leftist is just not convincing. And I think he needs to stand up and try to convince people that he's serious about getting this virus under control and keeping them safe and trying to turn things back around for this country.
All right. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Good night.
So President